So there's no faces in here or anything, but in fact, let's just switch and see if you can get your hands warm up by the time I'm done here. So this is not the preferable chart that I wanted to give you, but it was the most convenient. You really just want a lead sheet. You don't want all that nonsense underneath the bass line. As a piano player, that is not what you're going to be doing if you plan on playing this with other people. You know, you're not playing the bass line. So it's handy if you're going to attempt to play it by yourself. Yes, it's not what I do. You know, I'll have the metronome on, usually around there. It used to be 112, but 120, but so I just, you know, run it through. And then I start soloing. Totally off with the beat. But anyway, I'll do that, you know, however long I feel like doing it, usually 6 to 8 to 10 choruses, and then I'll wrap it up. Again, it's just a mental stimulation thing. I did that. That was, it wasn't really the greatest, but it'll give you an idea of what, you know, what goes on. And you, I don't always just, you know, I don't just run through the half notes like that usually. Anyway. The very first thing you have to do with this song, if you haven't started already, is you have to learn the song. I mean, you have to learn the song. You got to play it several times a day. Just play it. You're not fast. You don't have to be up to tempo. Just learn these chords, the melody over the chords. Maybe as you're going slow, what is that? What is that in an A minor? Well, it's a 2, but it's a 7, so it's a 9. You follow me? So my melody note is already kind of unusual. You know, that's my 13 in an F sharp 7, and that's all I have in my left hand is an F sharp and a 7. And I have a 7, so now a 6 becomes a 13. So there's jazz notes in the melody, or there's extensions in the melody. So you really want to learn. You want to have it completely memorized with absolutely no little blank spaces here and there.
So when I'm learning the chords like that, is there like a certain voicing or?
Well, what you want to do first, you do want to learn convenience, but I mean, you can just take that video I did, and if it's good enough, I can try to get a better angle so that you can see what I'm doing better. I don't know that helped any, but you know, an overhead would be best. Or those are the first 5 chords. Generally, I almost always start out in a root position when I'm playing this song.
So just whatever is like most comfortable or easiest.
The nearest by, but you kind of, this is not like the Miles Davis song that I gave you where you can get away with 2 notes.
Yeah.
It's not going to help you memorize the song. All right, so do that, and then you can also do this. Don't go by that bass line, although it can be done. All right, you go examine the roots and see what's going on, because that's what that video was probably. I haven't watched the video, but these are called Coltrane chords. In other words, you start there, you go up a minor 3rd, and then what do you do? What was that? I'll do it again. I start on a tone, up a minor 3rd to there.
And that's a 4th.
A 4th, up a minor 3rd. What was that?
Another
another fourth. Those are Coltrane chords. So run through that. You can look at it either way, as a fourth up or a fifth down. Most people look at it as a I believe most people look at it as it's convenient either way. You know, it's always a minor third, up a fourth or down a fifth, however you want to look at it. Up a third, okay. And then he does a little 2-5, and from there to there, from E flat to A is what? Evil sounding. A flat fifth. Okay, also known as a tritone. Right? E flat to A is a tritone. Whole step, whole step, whole step. 3 whole steps. Hopefully this is viewable. You can see that crap. But so that's how he's going to get from his original key, B major, to the next little portion of that phrase, which starts in G major. So he gets there, so he follows his pattern. It doesn't matter which direction you go, from the E flat to the A, it's going to be a tritone. That's the cool thing about tritones, is they are perfect. That's tritone, and they're both the same note. Now he's got a 2-5-1, A, D to G, A to D to G. We need to talk about that too. You need to learn those. But now we have our next tone, G. He 2-5-1 to the G. Third, minor third, fourth, minor third, fourth. So that's what's going on. Tritone from the B to the F, 2-5-1. Tritone from the A to the D, from the E flat to the A rather. Tritone A, 2-5-1. What's a tritone from G? It's flatted fifth, so. Or it's raised fourth rather, really, in this case.
D flat?
Yeah, C sharp. 2-5-1. What's going to be our last one? B's and F's are always hard to visualize on the keyboard.
F sharp?
Just F.
Just F.
Yeah, that's tritone. Yeah, no, B and F are always the hardest to visualize. So 2-5-1, and then he just 2-5-1 back to his original key. Okay, so that's the theory going on, and you need to know that. You need to know the letters of the chords of this song, or you're screwed. Or at least your only other alternative is to have your 2-5-1s completely nailed. All right. Now, to get started on improvising, you can just take little simple things in the right hand, messing with the melody. All right. So here's our melody. All right. That's our melody. So it's really just a G sharp major 7 chord. But we don't really want to think of it that way. Okay, so you can take little simple patterns. Alright, so that would be just to get you started and do it everywhere. See what I'm doing? That was a simple one. And an even simple one would be a half step. So in other words, you gradually, but again, you have to know the song first. Don't do this stuff until you've got that song completely memorized. All right? You don't have to be fantastic in your left hand. You know, you can start. I mean, if you want, and then go a different route. You know what I mean? Little simple things that later on you can connect them all together or use them. They'll come out from your head. You know what you want to say in your head. Basically, doing that is building you a little catalog of things that are possible within each chord. You follow what I'm saying? You can do a lot of different things in B major 7. You can do even more things in a regular 7, D7. But little by little, these are showing you the notes that are right. You know what I mean? Notes that are safe for now. You know what I mean? If you get advanced in jazz, you find yourself going all over the place because you know that, you know your extensions, you know the scales, you know your modes, you know the things that work over other things, and then your left hand can just hang tight with the regular chords while your mind and you can go anywhere at once, and hopefully your hand is following it. And then one more thing I wanted to, for your 2/5s, to get started on your 2/5s, which are A to D to G, F to B flat, E flat, and then this whole section is, once you get to the F minor, the whole thing is 2/5s until the end, 2/5-1, 2/5-1. So to get started on that, you can, here's A to D to G, and that's a little arc of the circle of fifths, A to D to G. And that's important to us because all our music does that. 1, 4, 5. All pop music until recently did that, or centered around it. It did other things, but those were the main ones, the primary chords, right?
Yeah.
So in jazz and in standards and in a lot of music, it'll do this. It'll go 2/5-1, or traveling up in fourths, if you prefer, traveling down in fifths, the circle of fifths, the cycle of fourths. I might have that backwards, but same difference. Okay, I prefer it this way. I always have, because that's how we think in Western society. We think from left to right. So what you can do is you can take your 2/5-1, take the middle chord, and play that chord scale. So you have something to do there, a starting point, a pickup line. All right, then do it on the F to the B flat to E flat. Do the B flat 7 chord. Do the D again. F sharp 7, right? The B flat. All right. Again, these are just things. This is the fast track. What I'm showing you is the fast track, and you're kind of an experiment. Okay. In other words, will you like have a mental breakdown in a month or so? I don't know, but you know, these are just the things. When I thought about showing you how to do this, these are the things that came to my mind as the clearest path to getting started. You know, what you really need to do is just start playing other songs as well. You need to work on a transcribed solo. You can do that easily going online and just write transcribed solo, whoever you like as a piano player. You can even do sax player if you want, but then you gotta, you know, you're not in the same key as a sax player, so you're better off. There's a book out there called the Omni Book, which is Charlie Parker solos. Very, very, very handy. Pain in the butt. They're not really pianistic at all. They don't go under your fingers nicely because he played them. He didn't write them. He played them on an alto, and he was sick. You know, he was out. You know, he was just miles beyond everybody at the time. You know, he was ahead of everybody, literally. You know, in this chart, not that he ever played giant steps. He was already dead, but. If you know this chord here, he'd already be anticipating in his solo, let's say over here somewhere, 2 measures before sometimes. He was that's where his mind was, you know, and it worked. So you want to take simple songs like Autumn Leaves. The song I gave you, it's not that simple, but you can take other modal songs from that album like So What? And Freddie Freeloader blues. We really need to work on the blues. Maybe we'll do that today a little bit.
I like Boplicity too.
Boplicity, okay. Trying to remember. That's a fairly complicated song, though. So you like the complicated stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I played drum set on it though. We did it in high school.
I'm trying. Is that ba da ba 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 da
Yeah.
da da? Okay.
I mean, it's not like a crazy fast one. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's from the Birth of the Cool originally. Anyway, yeah, that's. You want to work on that, but you're going to find yourself. You might find yourself a little challenged, and I'm not making any good sounds over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a bop. I can't. I've only played that song a few times and read it through once or twice. But anyway, so the last thing I'm going to show you on the video is the beginning of bebop scales. Okay, and I'm just going to show you one today. All right. There's several, but the whole idea is the same. The whole idea is adding one more note into the scale that sounds cool, that helps you flow in 4/4 time, because you know scales have 7 notes. So when you do that, it doesn't land squarely on the beat in a nice place. But if you go like this, this is the one I'm going to show you. Oh. And I don't have the fingering down on this one, but that's. In the scales, you'll find yourself doing a lot of 2/1 2/1. Look online to find the correct fingering for them. Okay, these are not things that I learned. I just learned them by hearing them and doing them. Some of them, some of them are a lot easier than others, but but that's what you're going to do. You're going to go up your regular scale. When you get to the 7th tone, flat it and then play it, and that's our first bebop scale. So. Handy. Sounds good. You'll use it forever because it sounds good and it's logical. We like logic, and the listeners really like logic, especially in jazz, because they don't understand what's going on. So if their brains can hear things that the brain can pick up on, a pattern, for instance, they're like, all right, I'm in. I like this. This is cool. You get to the stuff where someone's just like all over the place, going wild, completely off the tonal center, not using any patterns or anything like that. You're going to lose a lot of listeners. They might sit there patiently and clap, but they're not engaged. They're like, okay, that was fast and that was cool, but I'm not being touched, because there's nothing there for me to grasp onto as a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, do that in every scale. Just take a, you can take see what I did there, I think, was take a fancy 13 chords. So 7, this is a G. My 7, my 3rd, my tritone, and my 13. My pinky's on the 7. This is standard jazz piano. Your pinky will I won't say almost always, but very frequently either be on the 7 or the 3rd. So it'll either be on the 7 or it's the 3rd of a G chord.
It's gonna be a B.
But see this tritone? F and B? That's always going to be there. So there's my new G7. 3rd, 7, 9. This one's funkier. And come down to. Okay? And then do it on your next, you can go around the circle of fourths, the cycle of fourths if you want. Fingerings are horrible, but you get the idea. It's important to be able to do that anywhere on the piano in any chord, because it'll be something that will connect one idea to another. Sometimes it may not necessarily be its own thing, but it'll get you from one place to another, both in your mind and in the song. All right? That's enough of me babbling on.